is true that the media really wants to see everything, and they have this fundamental belief that they should see everything. And I think Hillary's decided they probably shouldn't, and I think that's her prerogative.
It's her prerogative until she's violated the law. I mean, that's the issue here, Howard. Is that it's the extent to which she and her people, to the extent to which she and her people have gone to hide things in violation of State Department protocol and the law, and that is not her prerogative. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, if Howard Dean says it is, then it must be, right? Joining us now is Tom Rogan, columnist for the National Review, panelist on the McLaughlin Group. And Tom, welcome. What, emails being released today, and even though Hillary said the other day she wants them all out, some of them might be problematic. But that aside, let's focus on what the mantra of the left is that Hillary broke no laws. Hillary did what she was supposed to do. She handed over everything she was required to, and she didn't have to hand over what she didn't hand over. But that's just not true.
Yeah, great to be with you, Steve. I mean, it is pretty ludicrous, and I do think, part of the reason you see pretty universal media condemnation of Hillary Clinton over this is that her excuses are laughable and ludicrous at the same time. And you can go wherever you want with this story. You can go to the fact that she had this private server that was, it seems on paper, if you're a foreign intelligence officer, it's just an open, it's the crown jewels just on an open plate, lacking security in terms of not having the same kind of governmental safeguards. And then the release of selected emails. Of course, she is the arbiter of what is relevant, and no one else is. And of course, that can't be checked because the server has been wiped. I mean, at best, it reeks of a cover-up, and at worst, it's a deliberate insult to not just the American people, but the tradition of American democracy is something that a candidate presents themselves with transparency.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I think one final point, Hillary Clinton's big campaign thing is this idea that, as much as she has all the speech money, she's standing up for, inequality, those who are suffering from inequality. And yet her conduct in terms of this emails is just pure representation of like a kleptocratic elite that seems, that the minions, the peasants below are unworthy of scrutinizing, my tradition and my past.
Yeah, and now we have, of course, the revelation that Sid Blumenthal is in the mix. And we have indications today from the New York Times that he sent her several emails about Libya. She would pass them on to one of her top advisors, who would then occasionally resend them without any acknowledgement that they came from Blumenthal. He resent them as his own. But that aside, he also told Hillary that this attack after it happened at Benghazi was pre-planned in advance and was done by a bunch of terrorists. Yet that didn't stop Hillary from, to this day, basically saying it was probably a video.
Yeah, it keeps coming out, doesn't it? And what's striking about this keeps coming out, but of course we don't have access to a lot of the emails that were wiped. So if this is coming out, who knows what was on those other emails? And because this is astonishing in and of itself. Sydney is back. I mean, it's the worst elements of President Bill Clinton's administration, just sort of on ecstasy or catalyzed for the 21st century. That's what we know. That's what Hillary Clinton, to some degree, has been willing to give us. That is why this story has so much traction, because it is so obvious and so unambiguous in terms of how bad it looks.
You wrote a piece that I want to talk about, National Review, Obama's Ludicrous Middle East Policy, and we could extend it. Since the time you wrote it, we lost Ramadi. We had the White House spokesman saying, what are we supposed to do, set our hair on fire every time we lose something to ISIS, which was a vulgar, vicious, despicable statement, which has come under attack from, besides me, John McCain and others. Look, when do you stop believing that this is all accidental and that Obama knows exactly what he's doing?
I think, so to some degree, there is a strategic, they think they're playing the long game, in the sense that this pain is necessary to force political reconciliation in the Middle East. Now, that's inherently delusional, and it's absurd, because I know for a fact that government briefers know the reality of Middle Eastern politics, and absent American power, the chaos and the paranoia will just drive this politicization of sectarianism further into the extremes, empowering ISIS on one side, Salafi jihadists, and Iran and the Khomeiniism on the other side. But I think they genuinely, this is their strategic doctrine. They are so in the bubble, so insulated, so confident that they have the right track and everyone else is wrong. That I think they sort of look at when they're sitting in the Oval Office, they sit there with their slacks and they take their stupid photos with their legs up on the table, how confident we are. I think they sit around there and really kind of look at each other and say, we're like Lincoln in the hardest days of the Civil War. We're fighting. No, but I mean,
I agree. I agree.
Fighting through the public opinion. We are true leaders.
Yep.
No, your policy is true stupidity.
Delusional. That was the word you used, and I think that says it best. Tom, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Tom Rogan, folks. Give Me 5 is next. We celebrate David Letterman in our own way.